Indiana in the morning on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. Mark Hilliard is with us from the Indiana County Chamber of Commerce this morning. And it's time for a visit with him, brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's good to have you with us here today. It feels like we don't get time like we used to. We were always talking about, there's this business rumor and that business rumor, and here comes this industry and that industry, and you just wait for the announcements to come. Because you can't really say, you can just talk around a situation a lot of times. So that's the situation with the power plant down there.
That's the big one right now, yeah.
That's the one that everybody's looking at. Major construction coming there and major destruction coming there.
Demolition as well, yeah.
Yeah, so that's all a part of what Indiana County's ultimate puzzle is for the economic future of the county. That puzzle will never be complete because every year brings new challenges and everything, but that's a big part right now, isn't it?
Yeah, we hope we continue to add pieces to the puzzle and not have to take pieces away. That's a major part of the puzzle right now is what's happening in Homer City, a positive part. And I think that, everything that you hear about it, is all positive. And I can't wait for them to formally make that announcement and go into some more of the details. I mean, it's a rumor that a lot of people have heard different things about, and until it all gets out in terms of what actually is going to happen there, we can't really say too much on what that how much of the rumor is true, which ones are not true. Yeah. But everything is positive. Everything seems to point in the direction that this could be a major opportunity for Indiana County, and it's exciting. I think there's a lot of positive things happening. We just had the Leadership Pittsburgh group in here last week, and being able to stand up in front and talk about Indiana County and the things that are happening, you do get a sense of pride because you feel like we're heading in a really positive direction compared to a lot of counties around the state, and it's exciting, and certainly it's something that we're looking forward to being a part of.
I think I want to return to that leadership conference because that was a really, really big thing. The collaborative effort of First Commonwealth Bank and S&T Bank to bring them here, to bring that event here, really pointed out that as a financial center for much of the commerce of this entire region, those two banking entities here in Indiana and the other banking entities that we have, they really do set up our area for really positive things. And leadership roles, I guess, is the way to put it. And that demonstrated it last week.
They told us before we spoke that they really wanted everything to be themed around collaboration, because when they've came here in the past and some of the folks from Leadership Pittsburgh came here in the past, that's the one thing that stood out to them is how well this county collaborates with one another. And, that's something that we've talked about in the past, but I mean, you really did see it. I mean, you have two major banks that they're there together presenting. And, they joke that sometimes they compete like the Red Sox and the Yankees, but they both really have an affinity for Indiana County, which is why both their home bases are still here, even though they've grown so much. And I think that is still something that you see in instances like last week, where they're standing up there together and talking about the county and how they do work together in certain instances for the community. They can compete at certain times, but I think it's more of a friendly competition, and really it's things that are happening in this county that you'll see them working together. Same goes with IRMC and IUP. I mean, not necessarily competition there, but the way that those two have collaborated over the past 5 years or so, it's really impressive, and I think it speaks to that theme of collaboration around our county. And truthfully, Todd, I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing so much positive momentum moving forward with these businesses coming in and some of the good things that are happening right now.
As this was unfolding last week and you were watching and listening, were there things you learned that perhaps you didn't even you didn't know about in your position that are happening within Indiana County?
I mean, to a certain degree, a lot of the people that did the speaking are ones that we interact with regularly during monthly meetings or board meetings. So I think it's always interesting to hear from the perspective of Chris and Mike from the banks. I think that those two they give a unique perspective, and we don't always get a chance to talk with those two, Dr. Driscoll and and Steve Wolf, certainly we have opportunities to interact with them. But it's always great to hear them speak, and I think every time they do a presentation, there's probably something that stands out that I haven't been able to hear or didn't hit me at first when I've learned it in the past. And I guess that would be the case with IUP and IRMC as well. I think they did a more lengthy presentation, whereas the banks kind of did more of a welcome. But it's always great to hear from those folks and be able to learn about what they're focused on and what they feel passionate about here in the county.
The groundwork that goes into any big project, when you think about, really any of the big enterprises that have come here in the last 10 years, there have been literally years worth of build up to it, establishing the industrial parks and getting the infrastructure in place for those. That's a heck of a lot of work by a lot of different people, legislators, county government doing such yeoman work. They're pulling people together. That's very exciting. And to see that the way those things all happen is pretty amazing here in Indiana County. Here comes, for instance, the outdoor season, and I don't think people realize the impact that our trails have.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And it's amazing the amount of commerce that comes from just having them in place and knowing visitors are coming. The pedestrian bridge, when it finally gets done, is going to be a big one. It's going to be a big thing for Indiana County.
You're speaking my words for me. Yeah, you're doing all the selling. Yeah. Going back to what you said, I mean, we talked about, or Byron Stauffer talked in particular about Urban Outfitters, because that was a question that was brought up. How did you guys end up landing it? And Byron said it was a lot of work in making sure that we had a site ready to go, and talked a little bit about the planning that led up to it, because if they didn't have that ready to go, it wouldn't have happened. And now that's simplified. There was a lot of people involved with Urban, but that goes to show the planning that led up to having the ability to be even able to attract an Urban. Before they even signed on the dotted line, it was something that they had to plan to make sure that they had the facility ready to go for anybody, especially somebody like an Urban. Tourism is a major economic driver. We talked about what happens here in the holidays, and that's something that we're proud of here in Indiana County and in downtown Indiana. But I think in the summertime, Buttermilk Falls and some of the things that are being talked about with that, and how many thousands of people come to visit Buttermilk Falls, and the trails, and the Ghost Town Trail, the former Trail of the Year. I mean, tourism is a major economic driver, and we have a beautiful county, and that's one of the unique things about Indiana is we're so close to Pittsburgh and some of the urban areas and some of the the things that you can do from an urban area, the Pittsburgh airport. But we're rural enough that we have all these great outdoor recreational opportunities that some of those urban areas just do not have. And I think that's what makes this a beautiful county, and it makes us special.
Well, speaking of opportunities, there are plenty of them for networking and other things in which the chamber is involved. I know that you always have a schedule of events coming up.
It's picking up right now because we have this Thursday, we have our first after hours, I think, of the year, that is taking place at the Salzburg Steam Academy, so the River Valley Steam Academy. I keep calling it Salzburg because it's the former Salzburg High School, but it's the River Valley Steam Academy, and that's going to be from 5 to 7. They're going to be doing tours early on, and then I believe they're going to be going over to Point Street Tavern for some hors d'oeuvres and drinks. So, if you're able to get there early enough, you'll be able to get some tours of the Steam Academy. And if you happen to be showing up a little bit late, closer to 6 o'clock or later, then head over to Point Street Tavern, and they'll have some food and beverages for everybody. But that's going to be nice because that's a great facility over there. And then next week, I believe on Wednesday, we have another after hours over at the Hilton Garden Inn that is sponsored by Indiana Regional Medical Center, and they're going to be talking about some things about some of the robotics that they're using right now in surgery. And I think they're trying to bring one over there to be able to use it just to kind of showcase exactly what it is and how it works. So that should be kind of neat, and Hilton's a beautiful place to hold an after-hours event. So those are the two that are coming up, and I believe the last Tuesday of this month, then we have another coffee talk coming up as well. But I also should say that we have the Excellence in Education tickets now on sale. So invitations to chamber members are going to be going out soon, but that event is on April the 28th, and I'm pushing it now because it's going to be here before we know it, and it's open to the community. We got some announcements coming up in terms of things that we're going to be doing with that event. We'd love for the community to attend, so tickets are now on sale. You can get them on our website, indianacountychamber.com, or you can wait for your invitation. There'll be QR codes, and you can register that way. But we're looking forward to that event coming up on April 28th.
It's interesting. We had the Excellence in Education students in last week. We get them in once a month during the school year, and to listen to the breadth of the different educational opportunities or work opportunities that they're all taking. They've charted their course, and I think back to when my course was not charted by any means when I was that age, but they know what they want to do, and they know what they're going to pursue, and they've already started the process of making that happen. And it's pretty impressive.
I talked with Leadership Pittsburgh folks. Well, I said one of the things we really strive to do with that group of students is we wanted a great cross-section of students. We didn't want just the high achievers. We wanted students that were excelling in a lot of different areas, including things outside of school, or students that had to hold a job or working at ICTC, furthering their hopefully their career over there. And we really do have a great cross-section of students when they come in here. You have students that may be getting into welding or engineering or pre-med, and they really have a variety of interests, and it's impressive. And I can honestly say when I was their age, I had no idea what I was going to end up doing, and they are all, for the most part, so prepared and just so well-rounded, and it's impressive to me to talk with them and to hear you interact with them. So we're looking forward to that, and hopefully we can do some fun things for that event on April 28th.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Mark, thanks.
Thanks, Todd.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. Fox News is next, and then Josh with us from the WCCS Newsroom.